Hey everybody, welcome in. In this video, I want to try to talk about absolute coordinates in Autocad. So in Autocad, you have three different types of coordinates that I know of. So you have absolute coordinates, relative coordinates, and then you have polar coordinates. So the absolute coordinates are probably the one that I've used the very least in all my drawing career, but it's something that's important. So I'll try to explain it a little bit to the best of my ability. So think about AutoCAD as if you're sitting at your drawing table and in front of you, you have a sheet of graph paper, but this is no ordinary size graph paper. This graph paper, it goes on in all directions to infinity and beyond. So it is an endless length sheet of graph paper. So that's kind of what AutoCAD is about. AutoCAD is it's based on the coordinate system. So you have X values, Y values, you even have Z values because you can draw in 3 dimensions in AutoCAD, but for this lesson, we're just going to concentrate on the X and the Y values. So at the center of this kind of infinite sheet of graph paper universe, you have your origin. So, and that's where you see this icon here. So this is your origin. So that's at an X value of 0, a Y value of 0, and also a Z value of 0, if that makes sense. So anything to the right of this origin is going to be a positive X value. Anything to the left of that origin is going to be obviously a negative X value. Anything above the origin is a positive Y value. And then anything below that origin is going to be a negative Y value. And so absolute coordinates are measured from the origin. So it's depending on what distance or length each one of your kind of locations that you need is going to be measured back from this origin or the home base, the center of the universe position. So for this video, just make sure that I'm going to type in UCS icon. And I'm gonna hit the enter key, and then just make sure you want to have where it says enter an option. You want to make sure that you want to have it. Obviously, you want to have it turned on, but you want to check to make sure that your UCS icon is at the origin, so that way we can kind of tell where our 0,0 location is. Sometimes I like to move that over to the left, so sometimes I don't have that set that way, but just for this. And then that way you'll know kind of this is the center of our universe wherever you see this icon. And you can see the X value is to the right and also to the left. And then the Y value is kind of your up and down kind of locations. And then also what I have done is down here in my status bars, I have where if you click to the very right where you see the customization, the 3 lines here, I have every single one of these checked on, just so I can kind of show you some things that I might have set up. Now, normally you wouldn't have every single one turned on, just the ones that you use the most. But when you have these all checked, then they are going to show up down here on your status bar. And then the ones that you see that are blue, those are the ones they're kind of like light switches. So ones that you see in blue are turned on. And then if they're gray, they have gray or not the blue shade, and then those are turned off. And this kind of helps me kind of know some things really quickly. If I want to get to my object snaps, if I want to know what scale I'm drawing in, if I want to know, it's like right now I'm drawing in decimal units, but for this assignment, we're going to make sure that we're in architectural units. So instead of typing in units at the keyboard, I can just go down here and just click this arrow, and I can change it to architectural. And that lets me know that now I can draw in feet and inches. Okay, so what we're going to be drawing, or what I'm going to draw and show you kind of how to use your absolute coordinates is, this is tutorial 1. It says create the drawing shown in the figure or the shape by using absolute Cartesian coordinate system. And then it says also specify the coordinates of the points by using the command line. So basically we need to figure out the endpoints of all these lines the distance of those points from the origin. So for example, this first word, you see point number 2. So we'll start here at the origin. This first point number 2, we're going to go over in the x direction, 22 feet 11 inches to the right. And then it doesn't, that point there doesn't go up and down. So that's going to have a y value of 0. And we'll kind of go through these. So also, I'm going to be honest, in all my time of using AutoCAD, creating like floor plans, elevation sections, route plans, you name it, I probably never in my lifetime have I ever drawn anything using the absolute coordinates. And now you're figuring out, well, why do we have to know this? Well, it's important if you might have an assignment in class that's given, or you might see it on the certification test, but usually I always use the relative coordinates, which we'll get to later. But I don't want to confuse anybody, so I'll show you kind of how we're going to go about creating this drawing using the absolute coordinate system. And I'll post this kind of drawing over in the corner so we can kind of see it as we go along in our drawing. Also, what you want to do is down here in the status bar where you see, if you hover over this where it says dynamic mode, right now our dynamic mode is on. Click that, make sure that that is turned off just for this lesson here. And so that what that does is now everything that we do is going to be typed in at the command line, which is kind of what they're requesting for us to do. And then also it's kind of up to you, but I really hate drawing with the grid showing because all those lines just they stress me out, not gonna lie. So I'm going to turn my grid off. So down here where you see grid mode, I'm going to click this and turn that grid off. And I'm also going to kind of, what I want to do is I'm going to press the wheel on my mouse and hold it down so I can pan this. I'm going to pan this where my origin is kind of over in this bottom left corner. That way when I create my drawing, it's going to be kind of over in this area here. So the first thing we want to do is I'm going to start my line command. And the first coordinate, the first point that we're going to start this drawing is, it says line specify first point. So I'm going to type in 0, 0. And what that means is so the origin is 0 in the X, 0 in the Y. And I'm going to press enter. So now you can see we have a line started at the origin. And so now it's wanting us to figure out, okay, where do we want to draw the next coordinate at? So if I look at my drawing sheet, it says point 2 is located, it's 22 feet 11 inches to the right, and it's 0 inches up or down. So that's a straight line to the right. So here, I'm just going to type in here, I'm going to type in 22 feet dash 11. I don't have to type the inches. I'm going to press comma. So that's the X value, right? And then the Y value is 0 because it's not going up or down. So I'm going to type in 0 and press enter. And so that you might have to like hit the escape key and kind of pan out a little bit so you get that whole entire line in your drawing. So the next line is going to go from point 2 up to point 3. So I'm going to start my line command again, and I'm going to click on the end of this line here. All right, so now for my point number 3, I'm going to measure it from the origin there. So that's going to be 22 feet 11 inches, comma 2 foot 1 inch. And so there's our line straight up. For point number 4, that's going to be we're going to move over to the right in the X direction 10 feet 5 inches and then straight up 2 foot 1 inches. So for this one, I'm going to enter my X value is going to be 10 feet 5 inches. Let me do this. Let me go 10 feet dash 5, comma 2 feet dash 1. So we're going straight over there to point number 4. And then point 5 is going to be, It's going to be in the X direction 4 feet 2 inches, and then it's going to go straight up 6 feet 3 inches to get to 0.5. So I'm going to type in 4 feet 2 inches. I don't know if I need the dash or not. We'll try it. 4 feet 2 inches, comma, 6 foot 3 for the Y value. Okay, I can do it. I can do it that way too. And then for point number 6, that's not going. That point number 6 is not going over left or right. It's straight above the origin here. So there's no 0 value on that, but it goes up 6 foot 3 inches. So I'm going to type in for this next coordinate is going to be 0, comma, 6 foot 3. And then for the last point, I'm just going to type in 0, comma 0, and we'll go back to where we started here at the origin. And then I'm going to hit the escape key to get out of that line command. So there's our drawing there. So using absolute coordinates. So again, when you use absolute coordinates, all of the coordinates are measured from the origin, the distance from the origin. So I hope that helps. Like I said, I rarely use that, but it's important to know how to do it. It's also important to make sure that you have your dynamic input is turned off to be able to get that correctly. All right, so one last thing we need to do is I'm gonna save our drawing, and you should save your drawing too, because if you close out of here without saving it, probably wouldn't be a good thing. You don't want to lose all your hard-earned work that you just did. So I'm gonna go up to the big red A here, and I'm gonna hit save. Now I had already saved this previously, but let me bring this over. So you would save it, just give it a name in the file name. I named mine tutorial 1. Then just make sure you click save here. Also make sure it's a drawing file, it's a DWG. Hit save, and it says it already exists. Do you want to replace it? Yeah, I do. Just make sure you save it. And that is how you kind of go about using absolute coordinates in AutoCAD. So I hope that helped. Make sure to come back next video, and we'll tackle some more stuff. All right, peace out.